Okay, so we are now on to the Sparge. And as always, if you haven't seen me do it before, I will be adjusting this Sparge water with a a phosphoric acid blend that we'll put in here. I'll dilute it. I do the maths on it and everything. And throughout this Sparge period where we're showering hot liquor tank water on top of the grain bed to further rinse sugar out into the kettle, I'll be adjusting that Sparge water as we go. A little bit like this. Do you like the squeak? How I do that is I just know I have to track so many ounces of that diluted acid going in, and I just track it per gallons going in. So that's how I do that. So anyways, you can watch me do that for a second. Squeaking the squeaky. Squeaky wheel gets the oil. Squeaky wheel gets the oil. Sweet. That's enough that I need right now. Again, as we sparge, we are sparging while continuing to louder over to the kettle. We're at about getting close to 6 barrels over there. Things are going real smooth. Okay, so we have almost 10 barrels of wort in the kettle right now. And what I'm doing is I am whirlpooling that kettle using the pump, and I am spinning that wort. The reason I'm doing that right now is I'm going to be adding my lactose, and I like to add that lactose in the outer portion of the wort that's circulating. I just don't want to drop all this sugar down to the bottom of the kettle. I want to have some motion in there. You can wait and do this at Whirlpool if you want, but I have available time right now, and I do it now because I don't have to do it at the end, and it saves me time on everything. So that's what I do. What I like to do is, obviously, glasses, gloved up. This stuff is hot. And so what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to take this sugar and pour it in right here into this portion, because then I feel like when it doesn't splash up at me as much. If I pour it in over here, there's more area over here where splashing can come out of this side of the door. So I like to add it over here. I find that I get less stuff coming out of the kettle at me, so that's how I do that. This bag you have to be careful with because there's a separate plastic bag inside of it. So I like to open it essentially halfway like this. If you can see that, only one half of it. And then I can put my hand and actually hold the plastic bag. And then hold it on your hip and slowly pour this into the kettle. The reason I do this so gently is, again, I don't want to be throwing huge chunks in. I usually do feel these two ahead of time to make sure there's not huge chunks of sugar in there. If there are, you're going to want to break that up. You might get a couple chunks, but in general, you just don't want a big brick falling out of here. And maybe I'll fast forward some of this. But lactose is one of those non-fermentable sugars that you can use. Again, milk sugar. It does help to sweeten up a beer a little bit, maybe give some edges of creaminess, but maybe not as much as you think. I think it's really more about the residual, I think it's much more of a body thing, but that can just be my opinion. I really think with sweet stout,
you need to have probably 10% lactose in there. The expectation for a big-bodied lactose beer is just so aggressive. And also, we'll talk about this when we dive into the recipe. I really feel like if you're competing with a beer like this on the homebrew side, dude, it's hard to make these beers too sweet. Anyhow, I have my lactose in. I'm gonna get some no foam in this. We use a food grade defoamer for the kettle. It helps prevent wort coming out at you when it's boiling, which is obviously a bad thing. So anyways, that's the lactose addition. We're continuing our lauter to get this kettle up to 18 barrels for this 15 barrel batch. And that's it, baby. All right, you guys, we have been graining out the mash tun. In the meantime, we are coming up to a boil. I have my 2 pounds of bittering hop here. We're talking about 25 IBU, and I'm gonna go ahead and add these slowly to the kettle. I don't add them all at once. I take my time with it. You've heard me say over and over again that this is one of the times when a kettle really wants to boil over. And if I can take my time with it and be a little bit safer, then that works for me. This is the only hop addition in this beer. And with a lot of like adjunct stouts like this or adjunct beers, when I'm looking to... Oh, that was you. What? That was you making sound? What's up, dude? Good, man. That was me literally defecating in my pants, just for the record. I thought the rake caught on something, but I was wrong. All right, well, let me turn this back on, Josh. I'll pause it to where you can knock the rake out, too. All right, I'll get the rest of this in here. And like I was saying, with all these adjunct beers where I'm really trying to push forward a specific flavor, in this case hazelnut, I'm not going to be doing late hop additions because I don't want them competing with the adjunct specialty flavor. Anyways, we got a 60-minute boil from here. We're going to keep cleaning and prepping, and we will catch you later in the process. Can you see this here?
Okay. Hey everybody, we are through our whirlpool. We allowed that whirlpool to rest, and now we are ready to run off some clear wort. You can see this sight glass just turned black. And we're gonna use this rig to go from dumping the wort down the drain to filling the kettle. To filling the fermenter, I should say. You can see right here that we are replacing the atmosphere in the fermenter with beer, right? So we have wort going in. We are using dry 04 on this, and we'll dig into that a little bit more later. We're throwing a little oxygen in with this wort. We're knocking out at 67 degrees. So really everything after this is just knocking this kettle out into the fermenter and then cleaning. So we will catch up with you later. All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching. If you feel as if you got any value out of the video, please like and subscribe. There are also other videos that you can watch. They're gonna maybe be over here or over here. Appreciate you watching.